We are going to do the next step of working on the junk journal by preparing the background pages. And I found even more stuff. I'm going to get these stencils out of the way for the minute. Beautiful stencils. We're going to use those in the next step, but we are going to take our junk journal. So let's get back to where we were. I found this amazing piece of paper, which I think rather than background paper, I am going to, jelly plate is our next thing we're going to do. But I want to get like a base layer of background to the pages. And to do that, do something with that. And today I am going to use gel medium, matte medium, rather than, you could also use Mod Podge, you could use a variety of things, but today I'm going to use this. And so we need a brush. Okay, this is a yucky brush. I always use yucky brushes. We are going to do a combination of collage paper, which is a very thin tissue paper, but it'll still make it a little bit white. I have that really cool piece of crunchy paper I got from Seth Apter's store. We have patterns that make a nice background. And then this is from the Webster's Dictionary. Look at the cover of this dictionary. It's amazing, but it's so delicate. But we're going to be using a bunch of papers from this book. And I'm going to keep those safe, but we're going to be tearing papers out of this book. It's not in good condition. In fact, let's just take some papers out because it's shedding all over the place. Oh my goodness. And I know a lot of people think that they should save old books, but even librarians say they would rather see the books have a life than just be kind of fawned over. Okay, so we're going to start with this, and I want to get some background paper started on it. And this is our cover, so let's do a nice job. Let's start. Hi, kitty. Hi, honey. And this is just a dictionary, so we're going to just start layering stuff on here. Hi, sweet. You got to jump up? Oh, hi, honey. There goes kitty. And matte medium is both a glue and a gel and a cover. And you can thin your paint with it. So it has lots and lots of uses. I don't necessarily want to seal all this paper. I'd like to have it be some of it sealed and some of it not, just because that makes it interesting. But I do want to stick down these pieces that have weird edges, right? So we're just going to be doing some decoupage today. Oh, look, I have cute nails. I went to the salon with my daughters. That was part of their Christmas present from their dad. And then we took little Emmy, who's 3, for her first mani-pedi. She was definitely not totally on board to start, but then got a little bit more okay with it as we went on. Okay, I'm going to take a little piece of this crinkly paper. I don't know what it's for, but it feels really cool. I will play with it sometime. I'm sure Seth Apter on his Facebook page has some videos about how to use crinkly paper. But I'm going to use it for the, it feels a little ribbed, as if it's corrugated. So I like that about it. Okay, let's give this a second over here because that's the front cover. Let's do the back cover kind of similarly. Get a piece of this because everybody thinks they should have all different kinds of textures and colors and things like that. But what makes a journal feel cohesive is when there's lots of repeating elements. And so we're going to have a lot of repeating vintage elements as the background. So just trying to get those edges down, and let's get a couple pieces of book pages going. And if you're trying to make perfect backgrounds, you're probably going to make yourself crazy. You don't need perfect backgrounds. You just need to get papers down to start to have different textures and layers and things like that. So we're not trying to do anything exciting right at this point besides starting to build up some layers. I think that's 2 papers. They're very thin. They're very thin and very delicate, which is why we are using medium to get the edges down and to kind of make them a little bit more sturdy. And I can see I didn't get that pushed all the way down, but I'm not looking for that to be perfect. Okay, here's this. Now this is fun because this is kind of like paper, or excuse me, cloth. And there's 2 things that we can use for something that's cloth-like. We can use old patterns. So we're gonna take some of these patterns. Hi, honey. Yep. Ooh, here's a good part of one. And they cut up these patterns, like this is a sleeve, I bet. Yep, probably a sleeve. So people don't love buying the patterns that are all cut up. So you can get them really cheap at the thrift store, or my friend who sells secondhand sent me a whole bunch of patterns. And you can find the really cool places in them with arrows and words and lines. It's really a fun way to add a little bit of that vintage ochre color. Okay, now we also have something else new that's kind of fun. So let's put a couple pieces of this down first and see how we like it. Okay, here we go. So we're going to take this and kind of saturate it a little bit. You want a lot because you want this paper to absorb into the fabric. So we're going to use a lot of medium on this. It's nice that it has a white background already. Some of the things that we're going to be working with don't have a white background yet. I guess we could not work on our pile. It's fine. It's fine. And I'm not going to do this whole thing with you because this is going to be layers and layers and layers. But when I do something different and fun, I will pull you in. And this is different and fun. Okay, so there we go. We got that first layer of that on there. And let's put something across the top here. Do we have a cute piece? We have a cute piece, but I'd like to go all the way across the top. There we go. Like that, or like that. With the arrow. With the arrow. I like the arrow. Okay, we're going to do that. So we're going to get a ton of medium on here. And then we're going to put our cute arrow right there. Don't get attached to the arrow. There's a good chance that it will not, that it will be covered up with glue or paint or something else. But it's kind of fun to think about putting neat things here and there. Okay, here we go, here we go. And you do want to saturate this to get it to absorb into this kind of fabric-y stuff. Now I do want to open this so I don't glue my little envelope together. All right, so we're going to put that to the side. We should stop piling everything up. Okay, here we go. All right, now we have white piece. That's good, white pieces. Let's go ahead and do some book pages. And I go over the edge, and I'll show you that in a sec. I tend to like my stuff linear. A lot of people like little choppy bits or diagonals or ripped pages. I tend to like my backgrounds to be relatively, you know, straight this way, straight that way. That is a choice. And you can make that choice. We're just going to try to straighten this out with the paintbrush. There we go. That worked out great. Do we need a little bit more? We got enough in the paintbrush. I feel like we have enough in the paintbrush. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to just take a piece of this and kind of go over the rest of this. Now, what do you do if you don't have all kinds of cool, random, old papers? And we're going to try something new next. Maybe on the other side? Yeah, we'll try some. No, we can't. We got to wait for this to dry. Okay, all the drying time. And I live in Florida, so my drying time is pretty big. Okay, so now we have, this is getting dirty from book pages and stuff like that. All right, let's come here. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so this is the inside of that Kleenex box. And I just got these new kind of products that just came out. So these are called Matte Tint, and they are collage medium that have been tinted. So we're going to try this. They're from Paper Artsy. They should have a bit of color, and we're going to see what happens when we use them with collage paper. We use them with the patterns. Here's a good piece of pattern. We're going to try this and see what happens. Right? Right. Okay. So I'm going to do the bottom part with matte medium because matte medium is cheap, relatively. This could be, like I said, Mod Podge, but per ounce, this is a lot less expensive than this tinted stuff here. Okay, let's try to get it somewhat flat. I don't mind wrinkles. They add dimension, but I don't want it to be a wrinkly mess. Okay, and then we're going to put a little bit of this on here and see what happens. It did go a little bit more sepia colored, maybe. Okay, and I just want to rip this off. So, there we go. That was wet, so it would just rip off. Okay, let's try this as a test if we do it on here and then instead of doing the matte medium underneath. Let's see what happens if we do it as the base. If we get more of a color fill. Okay, there we go. And the nice thing is I do have some matte medium in the brush, so I'm not relying on it for the whole thing. Okay. There we go. Got a nice base. We're going to put this down. So me doing it on this cardboard would be the same as if you'd get the same kind of, let me shake this real good. Feeling as you would as if you had done it with craft paper, right? Okay. Color-wise, not texture-wise. Okay. There we go. And we're just going to tear along this line. And we can cut off those sides. All right, what do you think? Do you think, oh, I definitely think it has way more color than where we did the matte medium underneath. Okay, let's do a different color now. Let's do we want to keep it kind of in the same color family? Let's do brown and see what brown does. And yeah, let's keep using this. This is boop. Bink. And I am just throwing away all these other little pieces of, that's kind of cool. Nope, I want it big enough to go over there. And I have gajillions of pieces of this. So she sent me like a whole bunch of patterns that were already cut up. So I am not being precious about, you know, trying to save every little piece of this paper. Okay. Let's try it with the brown. The brown. Okay. So there's the tint. That's going to be the adhesive. Now this is soaking up pretty good, so I wouldn't wait a ton of time. Let's get a drop more on there. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is just sucking up this tint. I would say that I would do the bottom. So let's do it both ways. So we're going to do the same test. They're yelling for Wally. My son's friend is over, Kevin. And Wally loves hanging out with the boys. But they were eating some lunch, so they didn't want him for a minute. Okay, there we go. And so that's double. And let's do, oh, let's tear this off. There we go. Let's get that stuck down. We got to see if it really does work as a glue medium. And then let's do the I need to clean off my desk. Let's do the base with no tinted medium. And we'll do the top coat with the tinted medium. There we go. Now let's do some tint on this top. Okay. At this point, I'm just trying to get it a little straight, and then we'll do one more drop of tint. Kind of wipe off my bottle there. And I'm trying to get enough moisture through to kind of flatten out some of the... Okay, now let's take a look. I don't know what this brown one, I think we did get a little bit more interesting brown, but let's put this guy aside and get something else. All right, we got this, so we can do the back of this. And we're gonna do some of the, now this is gonna have a tint color to it, which is fine with me. But if you like your stuff to be more pure, you would want to get a different brush. But to me, all of this is just background that we're going to be creating over. So a little tint here and there. And this is Tim Holtz Field Notes Collage Paper, which is a very cool paper. All right, let's do a little bit of this. I don't want it to be covered in it. Pink, having giving. Okay. And the tint in that tinted stuff feels like it disperses pretty quickly. Okay, there we go. It does have a hint of a tint. It has a hint of a tint. All right, we're gonna come back to this. And we're gonna put this up in here in this corner. And then I'm going to show you one more thing, and then I'm going to go back to making my backgrounds by myself, and I'll come back at the very end and show you all the backgrounds. That did not stick. So we have to, what that tells me is the paper sucked up the gel medium. And for this, I'm going to have something opaque like this paper. If I put tissue paper or collage paper over that, you would be able to see the Amazon under it. And I really want it to be vintage, not modern. So I want to, is that pulling up? No, that's not pulling up. That's fine. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, last but not least, what I'm going to do is on something like this, oh, that's pretty bold. We're going to get another paintbrush, and I have my acrylic paint here. You could use, if you don't doodle in your journal, you could use gesso. And what gesso is it's a much better primer, right? This is acrylic paint, which is kind of glue / plastic, and it will have a hard time sticking to the shiny, I mean, it'll stick, obviously, but it'll have a harder time sticking to a super shiny finish than gesso would. And gesso will, it has more tooth in it. It's not sandy, but it's gritty. And it will adhere better to a lot of things like this. But the problem for me is I'm a huge doodler. So, and I'm not going to make this perfect, but I want to knock down a bunch of this red. I'm a huge doodler. I like to doodle in all my journals and my pages. I like to write on them. And I use Posca pens. And if you use Posca pens with gesso, it eats your pens. It hurts the nubs of them and causes them to not be sharp anymore. So it depends on what you're doing. If you never use Posca pens in your journals, then you don't have to worry about how they eat pens. You could use gesso, which is much more inexpensive, and the only white paint I have right now is really good quality Winsor & Newton acrylic. It's fine. It's fine. All right, so I'm going to do this. You could actually use paint. Let me show you. So if we do this, you can actually use this paint to adhere your papers. It's not going to do as well as a gel medium, but it is, it's functionally a glue. That's why if you put your two pages together, when they're wet, they'll glue. But I have to have these pages that are super colorful. Either you have to put opaque medium on them to cover it up, or you have to paint them white so you could do layers of different things. So that is going to be journaler's choice. So I'm going to get all these done, and then I will come back at the very end and show you all the different pages that are going to go for the junk journal. So last night I trimmed up our stuff, and now we have all the bits of a junk journal that kind of looks cohesive, right? That's all I'm trying to get to right at this second, is all of it looks semi-cool. We have our pages. We have our flippy pages. And now we're going to bind it. This is going to be a flip page, and this is the back cover, and this is our binding. Okay. And I was thinking I lost a page, but the last page is this one. And we got to figure that out. But we can figure out everything. Okay, so we're going to take our front cover and our back cover, and we're going to do those first. And what we're going to do is I have, let's check one last time. You know, I check a million times. One, this is a thing on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interior pages, 6 with this cool like, you know, envelope. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure, did we have 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hills. So what we're going to do now is, I think this hill's too short. Right? I folded it wrong? Yeah. So these are our 6 hills. Let me check. 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. And then I'm going to cut this off. And if you didn't see how we made this part of it, that is in the first video. I will link that below. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to use some kind of glue. I'm going to use Artist Craft Glue. I've been testing it. And so far, it's been absolutely amazing. It doesn't get stuck. Hold on, we have to give it a second to fall down. Boop. And it's brown, not because of the glue. It's brown because I don't have a stainless steel pin in it. This is a special schnozzle I bought to make it the fine tip. Right? Right. Okay. Here we go. And we are going to put a ton of glue on here, because this is what's going to hold our whole book together. You can put the glue on the mountains and the peaks, or you can put the glue here. And this time, for fun, I'm doing it here. And I'm going to try to cover all the little spots, because this is important. This is what's going to hold our pages into our book. We're going to get real good on this end and real good on this end. Okay. And now we're going to come here. Go right in the middle. I'm holding the mountains together. And we're going to put our little flaps down. Okay. And I'm getting contact with everything. I'm getting contact with that glue and smooshing it. And now, because I cut off, we got to give it a second to start to adhere. So this is maybe a minute. I'm not going to make you watch me hold this for a minute. And then this is just coming apart because that was the glued part where we put the 3 pages together. So I'm just going to glue those 3 pieces together to make that a little bit more solid as the base, because the middle holds, but really it's these side flare out things that hold the they have the most contact with the binding, right? Okay, there we go. And then we are going to set this aside for 1 second, because we want it to get itself pulled together. And then we're going to start figuring out which parts of our book we're going to hook onto the binding. So this kind of got stuck together during the crafting part, but see, you can see that that is actually not sealed except by the stuff around it. So we want to try to get this opened back up for our cover. Might not be able to do it. That's fine. See, it got stuck. So we're gonna, there's always another way, but we're gonna get this super glued down now. I don't know if oh, there we go. I like this glue well enough, but it's really hurting my hand to squeeze it out. I mean, you get a lot of glue, but for me, as a person with wrist issues and things like that, I am not loving that. So we're going to try something else today. We're going to try Lawn Fawn Jumbo Glue Tube. I love Lawn Fawn glue. I can't keep squishing that. That really hurts my hand. So we're going to go with Lawn Fawn. Good glue, hard to squeeze. Okay. There we go. Okay, so this is our cover, our front cover. Let's try to get it flattened out a little bit. And as it sits, it's not super duper. Now see, that's lovely. No squeezing, just pulling out. Okay, that's our front cover. Let's see how everything's sticking here. This is going to be, I believe, our next to last page. Let's see if we can get this one open. Nope. Boy, I really glued all my pages together. It's no bother, it'll still work. This one never had a opening. Okay. This one never had an opening. Let's go this way with this one, and then that can open out this way. And oh, I love that. So the inside pages open out. Let's get the other tiny one. That'll go here. So these will kind of be, and we're going to offset them so that they are not, ooh, we should put the, yes, we're going to put the, this is going to have this on it. We should put this on it, huh? No, we're going to put it in, take care of binding it, and then we'll put that on there. And then we have this one that's just a pull out. That'll help keep this one. Okay, so now we have to figure out this one. And what I think I'm gonna do, because it's been obviously folded here forever, I am going to line this up. And I'm going to not use my good scissors. Where's my not good scissors? Oop. I'm going to use my good scissors. To cut that bag off. And we are going to put this in as a little, you know, a little pocket. I love that. Yay. Okay. Do I want it to open down or open up? No, that feels weird. Okay. Now you might be thinking this feels a little sketchy, like, how is this going to hold itself together when it can't even mind itself right this second? But I am here to tell you that once you have this done as a book, all right, we're going to start with the outside ones. So that's the back cover. We don't want that one. We want this one. And I think for this, I am going to use double-sided tape today. So we're going to go down here, down to there. And you could use glue, you could use double-sided tape. You just need an adhesive to hook this page onto this part of the binding. Now, because I used junk for this, it's a little bit sketchier than normally it would be. Usually I use really good products, but I wanted to maintain the junk factor. There we go. Okay, now we are going to keep it a tiny bit out from shoving it right in the middle of the binding, because if you shove everything right in the middle of the binding, it makes it very hard for your book to maneuver itself. And then this is just adhesive, so we don't have to worry about taking the time to have that stick. That will cure itself. All right, our next one is coming, and that is going to be this one. Let's do this one at the bottom. We'll do the other little one like this at the top. Bing. That time I can feel that there's tape on the bottom and there's just this on the top. Okay, here we go. And I think I'm going to put it in this way. Ooh, I didn't need to put the tape all the way up, huh? Let's go to the bottom here, and then I will have to, I'm pretty darn loosey-goosey, but I will have to put something there, or I will glue my binding to my binding. All right. We have a tag. So now we have a tag and a flippy. And we're going to need to cut that so they can operate separately. There we go. And I think there's catching a little bit, so let's snip that. There we go. Cool. All right, that turned out even cooler than we thought it would. All right, now on this one, we're going to have to do the tape on both sides because we have to get both sides of this. So this is going to be a little kerfuffly. It's fine. We will figure it out because we are smart and pretty. This to me feels like the derpier side because it could accidentally get over there. So I am going to do, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I will show you. I'm going to do this side first. Okay, there we go. And we're going to open this up and nope, it's not quite wide enough. So what we need to do is cut this down. There we go. And we're going to take this part off. We may need to reinforce that in a minute, but for right now, we're fine. Then we're going to come down here. We're going to cut this off. Good job, us. And then now our little bag will fit perfect. Okay. Here we go. And I want to make sure it is all the way down to the binding. This one matters because we got to get this to stay on that little part right there. Okay, there we go. We're going to fold this over and we're going to stick it to the tape that is active right now, right? Now we're going to come in here and we're going to pull this off, and we're going to put a little glue down in here to make sure that, like, if we put something in there, it doesn't scooch out. And just a little bit of glue. There we go. Let's open this so air can get in there to help dry that glue. All right, now we're to our next thing to put in. Let's see how we're doing. Oh, we're doing great. We are doing great. See? And when you're starting this, it feels like there's no way it could be a solid. Let's do the front cover, or the front one. Let's go the opposite way. Can we do that? Yeah. When you start this, it feels like there's no way this can work because it feels too flimsy, flippy floppy, all that. But as you get the book made, it starts to be able to help itself maintain its stability. Okay, pink, about that long. I have made much better books than this. I've made journals that are very stable and sturdy. That having been said, we're making a junk book, people. So we have to work with what we have. Here we go. So now we're going to put this in, not all the way, or we'll be crowding our binding. And then we're going to put that down. Mink. There we go. Nicely done, me. Okay. Now, what's our next page? Next, we have this one. So that opens there. If we do this, because this is this page, then there's kind of two gizmos in a row. Yeah, we need to do it on this side. Yeah, this side. Stick it down, me. Okay. We're going to have it like this in the middle. Stuck down. Then we have this that we're going to glue on. I hope it sticks with that. I don't know. I've never tried to glue Mylar to paper coated with gel medium. We're gonna hope, and if not, we'll just come back in and we will do it with double-sided tape, right? It's a junk journal. We can't do anything wrong. It's a junk journal. All right, I'll be back in a second. I'm probably going to let this set for a couple minutes. And then I will get back to binding. Now we have this last page. We did this one at the bottom. We're going to do this one at the top. Do we want to do another tag thingy like we did last time? That was kind of fun. Okay, let's do that. Let's cut this first. Okay, okay. Are we gluing it to the bottom? No, we did not glue it to the bottom. Why would you think that? Because we've glued things to the bottom before? Yes, that would be why we thought that. Okay, so we're going to do this and put that little tag in. Now, if you've ever done any kind of double stick tape and you've seen that red kind, I love the red kind. It is the stickiest sticky tape you've ever seen. But the cool thing about scrapbook.com tape is that you can tear it with your fingers. And what we're going to do is we're just going to roll that little bit over there. I'm sorry if you hear snoring. It's the tiny dog. He's sitting over there snoring. Okay, there we go. There we go. Cute. And we got to there. I am not going to give you any tips about how to get the back off of tape. I'm terrible at it. There we go. Boop. All right, now I do have to roll this little bit of tape back on itself, or that would be kind of kerfuffly. Let's stick this guy in. Okay. Now we got our book constructed, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take some fabric tape and make our binding. You could do this with paper. You could do this with almost anything. I have done it with black tape. I like it with black tape, but today I'm going to use a little fabric tape. Oh, look, look. That totally goes with kind of the theme of what we're doing right here. And that is Tim Holtz fabric tape. And all you got to do is cut a piece as long as your thing. That's going to be this side. And this is going to be this side. Oh my gosh, that looks really cute. Okay. Bing, ka-bing. And you can put this on any way you want. What I'm going to do is take this off and put it halfway up. Okay. Just going to eyeball this and put this halfway on the binding. Might be a little less than halfway on the binding, but fabric tape is super sticky. All right. And now, is that the front? Kind of like it that way. And now, let's do it this way. I'm going to put this on the fabric tape with a tiny little gap. Woohoo! Look, it looks like a book. Okay. And you might be thinking, why is my binding so big? And that is because I put lots of crap in my journals. My journals get very chubby, and if I didn't have that big a binding, it would just not close. And I like when they close, and I like to not be constrained by how much stuff I can put in them. So I'm going to go about halfway again. There we go. maybe a little less than halfway. Okay, now this one matters because we have that folder in there. And it's kind of one and done. You get one shot at that. And there we go. It's a book. We gotta get our binding straight, right? Right. Okay. There we go. And then we have pink, 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 pink with a really cute flippy flap and a place to put stuff. 2 flops, a bag, another flop, another flop. These guys flip out here. And then we got this page we haven't decided yet to do with, but that is very cool. And then here's the back. And we can straighten that up. Hopefully that helps. Tara Jacobson, Artsy Fartsy Life.